You can't control your size relative to your attacker, but you can control your skill. Today's video is brought to you by MagTech Ammunition, the exclusive supplier of range ammunition for all active self-protection training. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson out of Milan in Italy. Here we're going to see a jewelry shop robbery that frankly made my skin crawl. I've sped up the beginning just a little bit here. You see this woman let this man into her jewelry store. She did that by pushing a button under her desk. Now she's going to show him a whole bunch of stuff. There's a news story down in the description for a little bit more. When she goes back to the safe, he comes over and grabs a hold of her, and she's going to try to get away, but just not going to be able to. And he gets her down on the ground there. You can see at this point she's definitely given up, and she's trying to put her hand over her face. And now he gets out some restraints, got those out of his pocket there, and he's going to restrain her and now let his partner in. And his partner's going to come in, and they are going to rob the joint. Now, pretty slick moves on their part to get her subdued and then bring somebody else in. You can see that they have her hands now tied behind her back. And as the partner is going to go in and get all the stuff out of the safe, he is actually going to go and restrain this woman even further and get both her legs as well as her hands restrained. But thankfully, these guys are not murderers or rapists. They are simply armed robbers, and so they are going to take what they want and leave. And thankfully, they did not harm her. That's where this one ends. I'm very grateful that the woman wasn't badly hurt in this incident. If you appreciate the lessons that you get here at Active Self-Protection, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss a lesson. Out of today's video, I want to talk about being in a vulnerable population. I also want to talk about the incredible importance of empty-handed skills and when it's time to go and defend yourself no matter what. Let's start by talking about vulnerable populations, including women here. This woman probably was chosen because she's a woman, and if you are in a vulnerable population, a woman, elderly, handicapped, something like that, you got to recognize you are at more risk of being attacked. Next, let's talk about empty-handed skills. Obviously, any woman fighting a bigger, stronger man, which most men are bigger than women, need a high level of empty-handed skills. But all self-defenders, in my opinion, need a high level of empty-handed skills. Probably at this point, initially, because she's a woman or whatever, if she had the ability to carry a firearm, she might have been able to use it, but may not have been able to get to it. So having a high level of empty-handed skills, incredibly important for all self-defenders. Can't tell you enough. Get on the mat and train to a high level. Now notice that the rug really caused her some problems here, and somewhat that is footwear related. Sensible shoes, incredibly important. Wearing shoes that you can actually get some traction with, very important. And I get it, ladies, you like to wear high heels, but if you can get them without the hard soles on the bottom, something that you can get a little bit of traction if you need it, incredibly important. And knowing how to defend yourself from the ground here, incredibly important, because if you do lose your footing, you still got to be able to protect yourself. Now, this woman didn't have any empty-handed skills, and so she was cowed and emotionally had no emotional fitness to stay in the fight. He got a hold of her there, and she just gave up at this point. Now, you notice that she's kind of turtling up, and this is when emotional fitness is so incredibly important. A willingness to say, nope, I'm going to fight no matter what. Because you have to choose those opportunities in those times. Now, I'm not going to say that fighting back was everything here. And we recognize that we've seen the outcome of this one, that they actually just tied her up and then let her go. But friends, hear me. There have got to be times in your life that you decide, I am going to fight no matter what. To me and to mine, if somebody wants to tie me up, nothing good is happening from there. I am at their mercy, and I'm not willing to be at their mercy, and I'm going to fight to the death at that point. Another one, if they want me to go to a back room, I'm not going to be taken to a second location. They want to tie me up, they want to make me get on the ground, I'm not doing that. But you got to set those for yourself and know when the time to go is. Because once they got her tied up, notice we got a second accomplice here, and the only thing that protected her is the fact that these violent felons were not also rapists or murderers. She had absolutely no ability to protect herself. So you got to know where those strike points are that you say, nope, I'm going to fight with everything I have till the end, and this guy's going to have to knock me out to get me there, because otherwise this is what happens to you. And had they wanted to take her as a hostage, had they wanted to, sexually assault her, they could easily have done that. Thankfully, didn't happen in this case. I'm grateful, but let's learn the lessons so that we can cover our asp.